I used to stay up all night trying to find my place, chasing neon lights and looking for some kind of trace.
Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you getting into my monthly budget. These are my stickers for the month of February and I think they're beautiful and I am excited to get into this and love the look of this month's budget. So I hope you enjoy this as well. If you're into decorative budgeting like I am, I do monthly budgets if you're new to my channel, as well as paycheck to paycheck, weekly check-ins. I do, what else do I do? Oh, I do Mortgage Mondays, sinking funds, setup, closeout, and then I close out the month with the last weekly check-in and then paycheck 2 in one video and then close it out for the month. Everything I do here kind of ties in going forward to the next thing. The goal of the monthly budget for me is to make sure I have enough income to cover all the expenses. That's all I want to do. And I do the minimum amount of income and the maximum amount of expenses I need to put, and that's where my numbers come from. So we're going to go ahead and start filling in the budget only and seeing if we come up with a buffer for the total for the month. So let's see if there's anything left over and see how much it is. Right now I'm running a very low buffer to my budget every month, and it's about $20 some. So we'll see what we do this month. First, we have military retirement. My husband was active duty and he is retired Navy, and his military retirement is $1,946.27. Oops. This might change. I know the first month, the January deposit that happened at the end of December going into January, usually that first deposit is one number, and then the second deposit for the next month is a slightly adjusted number, and then that's the number going forward for the rest of the year. So this might be adjusted, or they may have figured out to the penny, so I don't know yet. But when the actual hits, I'll put that number there and we will know then. VA disability, so when he retired, he was a little bit broken, so they are compensating him for that. $2,489.96. And this is based on a 90% disability. And yes, my husband does work and everything, but the type of jobs he can do cannot be strenuous. Let's put it that way. Physically, he just can't hang anymore. He can't do it. All right, our son pays us rent every month, and that is $827. And then salary. So my husband gets paid salary at his job, and it's $1,412 is what I'm planning on, and then that actually fluctuates throughout the paycheck to paycheck based on some county taxes that are in there, because he works in multiple counties because he works for the state of Kentucky where we live, and that always causes a fluctuation. So I can't really get a steady salary for that. So I estimate as low as possible and go from there. So $1,412, he gets paid twice a month. Other is like if there's a refund or some kind of cash flow that comes in, I can mark it there and it will be taken care of. I never budget for it, and I don't think we're going to have any. So I'm just going to leave 0 there, but just in case something happens, you never know. So that is the income we're planning on for this month. And let's go ahead and get this calculator set up, and we're going to total up how much income we plan and then move on to the expenses. The total amount here for our income is $8,087.23. Now this is for a family of 4 adults. And this covers everything, all the bills that come to the house, as well as the spending for groceries, grocery household, restaurants, miscellaneous gas, and copay for any doctor's appointments or prescriptions. So all of that is covered for a family of 4 adults. I have 2 adult sons that live with us, and they are autistic, so that is why the budget is the way it is. So the first thing we have here in our expenses is our tithing. This month it is $210. The next thing we have is Greater Europe Mission, or GYM, and that is where we support missionaries. This is also part of our tithing, $256.75. Next we have Eric's Roth. That's my husband, Eric, and so we're both contributing to our Roth, $665. And by the end of the year, we'll reach $8,000, and that will be a fully funded, maxed out Roth for this year of 2025 for both of us. So we're going to max both of those out. We're kind of late to the game getting started in this. I've been contributing and maxing out my Roth for about 3 years now. My husband's done some 401ks, but mostly just the military retirement VA disability is all we were thinking, and didn't think to get him a Roth as well. So yeah, we're really behind on this. But if we contribute to our Roth every month for the next 15, 20 years or whatever, however long my husband's going to be working, and we can contribute into it, then we'll be taken care of, and we should have just enough money to take care of ourselves and our family as we go forward in the future. The next thing I have is our mortgage. I think in March I should get a statement of the new property tax escrow, and that's probably going to go up. Last year I paid $1,300 because it wasn't enough, because the property value did go up last year, and it's gone up some this year, so I'm not sure what that number is going to look like. I might be able to pay out of pocket to cover the cost. I don't know yet until we get there. So I'm not going to make any plans until the day comes. But for right now, our mortgage is $1,972.96. Next, we have Spectrum. This is our internet only, $109.99. It's expensive here. Amazon Music is my husband's streaming music that he uses all the time, $10.59. And the family can use it as well if we wanted to, and we just don't. Hulu Plus is our streaming services. It's got Hulu Plus, without commercials, Hulu Live, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus. So we got the whole package, and if it could come without commercials, we chose that option. So that's $101.75, which might be why it's more than most people's Hulu. If you leave the commercials on, it's cheaper. HP Instant Ink, that's a subscription I have for my printer, $7.41. YouTube Premium. The rest of the family likes to use, I use both the Hulus as well as, and the Plus as well as YouTube Premium. My sons typically use YouTube as their streaming. So they needed without commercials, especially during campaign seasons, because the ads get very vicious. So $24.92, and this just gives us a peace, sound of mind, especially when you're working with autistics and are trying to understand what's being said to them. It's hard to clarify that for them. Water is hopefully back down to $50 or less. We had a water leak a while back, and I finally figured that out, and so the water meter is still adjusting. We'll see what that is in February, but hopefully it's back to normal in February. Geico is our car insurance. It went down $22, so that's $157.53, which was very nice. I was appreciative of that. And then tithe. So tithe here is tithe to the church. This is tithe to the missionaries, and then tithe to the church again. So I write this in order of how the bills fall on the calendar. If I laid it out on a calendar, which I don't anymore. They're the same every month. They're listed the same every month, so there's no reason to put it on the calendar. When it says tithe a second time, that is paycheck 2 time period. So I put a little mark there, knowing that paycheck 1 ends in Geico, and then the new paycheck period starts with this second tithe, which is the same as the first one. Tithe to the church, $210. So we tithe when the income comes in. AT&T is going to be up. It's an extra $35. One-time fee for activations and all that stuff when I got my new phone. So we have $334 I would have kept my old phone, but it wasn't ringing. It wasn't doing half the functions I needed it to do. It was a iPhone 11 Pro Max. So it came out in 2019. I think I got it in 2020. So I had it 4 or 5 years. And I had used it so much, the battery capacity was very low on it. It was below 80%, and optimally you want it 80% or higher. So I was like, I'm just going to get a new phone. I'm tired of the glitches. Next we have sinking funds. This month I did raise the sinking funds. Hopefully the sinking funds can sustain this. So I got to thinking that I needed to add another category and that it had to be $100. So I'm doing 509.33. Okay. And here's the reason why. Let's see, I already set this up. I should have already put out a video for this. So I put a new line item called escrow. So every year when the escrow shortage happens, if it happens, I'll have like $1,200 sitting there, and I don't have to think about where do I come up with the funds to offset the cost of the escrow that I don't want to roll into the mortgage, because you can roll it into the mortgage, but then it raises your mortgage total that you have to pay. Your mortgage, your fixed mortgage stays the same, but your escrow part of it goes up, so the total goes up. And so I thought it might be a good idea to go ahead and do a line item for escrow and just do $100, because the area I'm living in, there's so much development going on. I don't know how fast or slow the property values are going to change and how that's going to affect the escrow over the next 5 years, because they're building a whole new community. They've already got the middle school built. They're going to put a shopping center, and it's less than 2 miles down the road. So, and there's a lot of farmland where I live. I'm surrounded by cattle farms, and where I'm at, it's not developed, but across the way, not far from here, is being developed. And I think that's what's driving up the cost of the homes in our neighborhood. So property values and stuff. So that is what I'm thinking about. And we'll see if I can sustain that. If I can't, then I'll just take it back out and not worry about it. But for right now, that's what we're going to do. And hopefully we can maintain it. Let's see. The next thing I have is life insurance 1. That's me, my husband, my oldest son. He's still young enough to be on our policy. He's got a few more years left on that. My oldest son aged out of it, so I got him his own policy. Life insurance 1 is $87.56, and then $33.16 is my oldest son. Electric, I'm putting $175. I know my heat has not stopped running, no matter how much I use my fireplace, and I'm down to 40% propane in my tank. I don't have a very big tank, but I have a decent sized tank that usually gets us through the winter, but it's been so cold for so long in, single digits and negative degrees, and then the heat's been running. Thankfully, it's been running well. We're doing well, but I'm concerned it's probably going to be way more than that, probably $100 more. So I'm not sure. If it's really, really high and I can't find or don't have enough wiggle room in the budget, I will hold off on the sinking fund for the escrow and add it to the electric, and then start the escrow next month. I'll keep the line item, but I just won't start it this month, which is absolutely fine. And then I'll just put $409.33 here, and then whatever the electric is here. And I'll know by probably a week or two what that number is going to look like, and I'll make the decision way before I normally transfer these funds to take care of these bills. So my husband's bill is $39.17. Apple.com, my storage on my phone, is $2.99. Vivint is our home security system. This is the monitoring service, $65.82, and they are doing well, taking care of us, so I appreciate that. So I did change the numbers a little bit when it came to my spending category. So I'm keeping the $1,500, which is what I did last month, for grocery household. It usually gets us through the month. That's the average for the year. Restaurants, we're going to drop down to $400, so it's $100 a week if we do a 4-week month. Not sure if this month, well, yeah, 4-week month for February, because February is 28 days, so yeah, that'll work. So that's down a little bit. Miscellaneous at $150 for the whole month. So I have to really be careful with that one. And then gas, I'm going to do $225, and the reason I normally do $250, but I think I can get away with $225. In fact, I might bring over a little bit of money from January to February to add to this, because if I go and pick up my father-in-law and he wants to stay with us, because he couldn't in January, maybe he could do it in February, then we'll see. We'll see. And then copay at $75 in case we need a doctor's appointment. I think it's $25 for a doctor's appointment, copay. And then our usual prescriptions for the month. Unbudgeted is always zero. It's just a line item. So if I do happen to use unbudgeted items and pay it out of the buffer of the checking account or what's left over, or however I run the numbers, I have a line item to put it. So now that I have all my expenses written down, I'm ready to go through the budgeting columns here and get my totals. And then we're going to find out what my estimated balance is. So I'm going to put EB for estimated balance, and then we're going to come up with a number right there. I usually say balance forward, but right now I don't think that's going to make any sense because I'm not balancing forward to the next month anymore unless there's a specific reason why. And I'm just going to call it estimated balance now. I think that's going to work. Okay, so I'm going to total up these numbers and I will be right back. Okay, so I have my numbers down. I know how much income, minimum income I will be getting for the month of February, and I know the maximum amount, hopefully, and I have a plan for the electric bill, maximum amount of money that I need to have for all the spending and the bills. So let's go ahead and find out what the estimated balance left over is, which I'm going to take $8,087.23 minus the $4,776.08, and then minus the $3,263.03. All right, $48.12. Not a lot to work with here. Just under $50. So that means I cannot mess up on my bills. I cannot mess up on my spending. I have to stay within the parameters that I have because I don't have a lot to work with at the end of the month or throughout the month. I just really need to stay on top of it. One unique situation for us and our family is the military retirement, VA disability, rent, and salary. These first four are all on the first or just before the first of the month. So 80% of our income comes up at the beginning of the month. And because I have 80% of our income coming on the very first or by the first of every month, I know I have to stretch out that money throughout the entire month, especially those first 2 weeks. I have to have a cutoff spot to make sure enough goes forward into the second paycheck period when the second salary check hits, because that's not enough to cover bills and expenses during that time period. So I always make sure that I follow the same plan and have enough money set to balance forward from paycheck 1, which is these first items to Geico here, to paycheck 2 all the way to Vivint here. That's how my bills are split. And then these are split down the middle, or because I have enough at the beginning of the month, I can, like I always do copay at the beginning of the month, total $75 up front. And when I'm tracking them as well in my budget, I am tracking them in the way that I start with these large numbers and work my way down. So by the time paycheck 2 hits, it's already at its half point, and I'm not overspending past that. So that works out pretty good. But yeah, for $48.12, that is the buffer of the checking account. That's all I have right now. And that's what I have to look forward to. So we'll see if there's money left over. I feel like this is going to be a really tight month because of the electric. We have electric heat, and we've used it a lot in January, and most, or if not all of January was below freezing, and it's just not normal for this area. So the amount's going to be a lot lower, or a lot higher than we're normally used to. But we've only lived in this house since August of 22. So that's what, 2.5 years now. So that's where we're at right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
Lead me out of darkness, give me a little faith, something to make me stronger, someone who could light the way. Then you came to me, yeah.